Being said, today we're going into lesson number 3 in A Course of Miracles. So, before we do though, what I wanted to do is just get a sense of how being with lesson 2 was for you yesterday. And remember, lesson 2 was this, where we said to ourselves, I've given everything I see in this room, on the street, out this window, all the meaning that it has for me. And that was a building off of lesson 1, which was that nothing had meaning. So what happened for you as you exercised that lesson yesterday? Does anyone have anything they'd like to share with us about what occurred for you?
Well, I just felt like it gave me power. I get to choose.
You got to choose. You get to choose what, Barb? I mean, when you say you get to choose, what does that mean?
I got to choose what had meaning for me and what meaning I gave it. So
Got
it was
it.
a blank slate the first day, and then the second day I got to choose. So that's how I saw it.
Yeah, it's an interesting. So you really kind of wiped the slate clean with lesson 1, which was nothing I see in this room, on the street, out this window has or means anything, right? That was and so now yesterday you said it has, the question was, has all the meaning that it has. You get to choose the meaning, don't you? So I love that. I love that, Barb. Who else had anything that you experienced as you did lesson 2? I have given everything I see in this room, out this window, on this street, all the meaning that it has for me. So Nancy, as you were cleaning your garage, what happened with that?
Well, I didn't get to that, but anywho, I did practice it a little bit before I went to bed, and it's like, to me, it gave things less importance. It's like, okay, there's a glass of water that quenches my thirst. There's, a pen. I use that tool when I need to. So it was just kind of minimalizing things. Again, I have stuff to get rid of, so I just want to.
Just playing the lessons, right? Just doing the exercises. That's awesome. Anyone else? Anyone else have something that they experienced as you worked through lesson 2? All right, so we're going to jump into lesson 3 then. And in lesson 3, actually, I'm going to set up a little bit of the lesson itself with a little quick conversation about atonement. And I'll be honest with you, I thought I knew the definition of atonement, but then the more I was going through this, I'm going, maybe I don't know what atonement really means. So I went to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and I just thought I'd share that with you too in case anyone else was where I was. And atonement, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, is a reparation for an offense or an injury. And that's what I kind of thought it was, but I wanted to make sure that I was getting it right. Or it could be a satisfaction, a story of sin and atonement. So it's the satisfaction of something. And, one of the ways you may hear it in languaging is that he wanted to find a way to make atonement for his sins, right? So it's forgiveness, it's making right, things that you did wrong, that type of thing. So in the lesson portion of the Course in Miracles, they talk about atonement and miracles. So atonement and miracles, so that for an offense or industry, making something right, that type of thing. So I just had a couple of quick things I wanted to share with you around that. It says, first it says this, that I am in charge of the process of atonement, which I undertook to begin. When you offer a miracle to any of my brothers, you do it to yourself and me. The reason you come before me is that I do not need miracles for my own atonement, but I stand at the end in case you fail temporarily. My part in the atonement is the canceling out of all errors that you could not otherwise correct. So that's the very first statement under this section. It goes on to say the forgiven are the means of atonement. So being filled with Spirit, they forgive in return. Those who are released must join in releasing their brothers, for this is the plan of atonement. Miracles are the way in which minds that serve the Holy Spirit unite with me for the salvation or the release of all of God's creations. We've talked a little bit about forgiveness. It was in the happiness series, I believe, where we talked about, you're in charge of forgiveness, and most of us get this incorrectly because we think we have to be asked to grant it to somebody. This is a whole different conversation. It's saying, no, it's yours to give. And when you do that, then others are made free by it. But mostly you're made free, right? Because when you're angry at somebody, when you're holding a grudge, who suffers in that? Do you think the person you're angry with suffers? No, they're in their life doing what they do. You're the one who suffers with it. So if you grant forgiveness, let this go, then you get to be free of it. And so that's really what this starts to touch into. It goes on to say, you respond to what you perceive. And as you perceive, so you shall behave. And I think that's a powerful one. I think I actually did this one wrong when I put this in the slide this morning. I mistyped the last word. So you respond to what you perceive, and as you perceive, so shall you behave. I don't know why I did believe. It's just kind of in my head. So perception becomes behavior. And we're going to talk more about that throughout this course. Last two thoughts. Miracles arise from a mind that is ready for them. By being united, this mind goes out to everyone, even without the awareness of the miracle worker himself. So I think that touches in my head, it touches on the power of forgiveness. When I clear myself of the grudges I hold and the things I'm angry about with others, and I grant forgiveness, then I'm opening myself up for miracles. And the last statement is this one, and that is that the miracles may have effects on your brothers just... let me say this correctly, because I had to do this a couple times when I was studying this. That the miracle may have effects on your brothers that you may not recognize is not of your concern. So that's a powerful one. It's kind of an interesting way of saying, I always think about it this way. I should only be thinking about or worrying about myself, and what others think about me doesn't matter. That's one of the statements that I like. What others think of me doesn't matter. It's none of my business. And what I'm worried about others, and sometimes that's where envy shows up, like, why are they getting this? Why are they doing that? I think that speaks to atonement as well. We shouldn't be concerned with that. We should only look for the miracles that we can create for ourselves. And in doing so, then it does have impact on others. And so that's kind of the atonement piece. It's about, I talked about in the book, The Traveler's Gift, one of the lessons from Andy Andrews there was a lesson that went like this. It was a statement that said, I shall have a forgiving heart. I shall have a forgiving heart. And I think this is really tied into that idea that we've got to just let go, and we've got to give forgiveness and let that space open up for something else in our world so that miracles have a place to be. And that's the idea about the power of atonement. Now, our lesson for today is an interesting one, because the question is this. Lesson 3 is to ask yourself this question: I do not understand anything that I see in this room, on the street, out this window, in this place. So that's what the statement to yourself as you look around today will be. I've got about a 2-minute video where this gets explained a little bit deeper. So I just want to make sure you had this. So let's hear how that gets explained in this lesson.
Hey, it's Maureen Muldoon here with Lesson 3 of A Course in Miracles. So we are on Lesson 3, and they're very simple lessons, as you may have noticed from doing the first 2. So Lesson 3 is, I do not understand anything I see in this room, on the street, from this window, in this place. Apply this idea in the same way as the previous ones, without making any distinction of any kind. Whatever you see becomes a proper subject for applying the idea. Be sure that you do not question the suitability of anything for application of the idea. These are not exercises in judgment. Anything is suitable if you see it. Some of the things you see may have emotionally charged meanings for you. Try to lay such feelings aside and merely use these things exactly as you would anything else. The point of the exercise is to help you clear your mind of all past associations, to see things exactly as they appear to you now, and to realize how little you really understand. How little you really understand about them. It is therefore essential that you keep a perfectly open mind, unhampered by judgment. In selecting the things to which the idea for today is to be applied, for this purpose, one thing is like another, equally suitable and therefore equally useful. So we're just going to go ahead and practice and just look around the room and say, I do not understand anything I see. And you can apply it to this plant. I do not understand this plant. I do not understand these flowers. I do not understand this table. And as you practice this throughout the day, it it definitely dismantles the ideas that we bring to this and the judgment that we bring to this of all of the other plants that I've ever known, of all the other flowers and all of the other tables that I've ever known. And so now I'm just going to be with this plant and these flowers and this table and see what they have to tell me, as opposed to see what I'm judging them as. So it's a really, simple lesson. And again, Jesus says, apply it to everything. These flowers might have a greater meaning to me because of who sent them to me or where they came from. But I have to apply the lesson simply and easily to each thing as I would see it, and dismantle the history of everything so that I can really see what they are now and what their true purpose is. So, have fun time enjoying the lesson today and practicing it. It's a good one.
So, what did you hear? What did you hear? Any takeaways from that?
Clear your mind of your past associations with the items.
Yeah, that really was the takeaway, wasn't it? And so this whole conversation about atonement is a piece of that, isn't it? Because is it fair to say that for most of us, we do hold on to things? Like hold on to emotions, we hold on to feelings, we hold on to anger, we hold on to things. And so this exercise is to let you just be with it in this moment, not from the past. So I love that, Nancy. Anything else that you took from that? You know what was interesting? There were twice in the lesson she shared that it's about judgment, and it's about working to no longer hold judgment on things. So there were two parts in the lesson that I'd underlined as she shared that with us, and she said these are not exercises in judgment. And yet here's the thing, I know that most of us are judging machines. That's how we've been programmed. And so this is about reprogramming ourselves to let go of judgment. And the second thing she said is that you keep in a perfectly open mind, unhampered by judgment. So as I look around and I say, I do not understand anything I see. I do not understand this set of headphones that I see. I don't understand this phone that I see. That's the exercise this day to see how that leaves you. So any last thoughts or questions?
I'm excited about this one. I think it's an important one because we do that all the time. Sorry, when you brought it up, I just was looking around the room and I saw my dog, and I realized that I assign a lot of like I've decided a lot about her existence that is, but to say that I understand, like I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I'd had a sense of awareness of like, okay, I'm putting a lot of me onto how I understand her, and I think this is a good exercise in separating yourself from.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'll give you, and along those lines, I'll give you another example of that. Are there people that you can think of in your life that because of the history you have with them, the minute they start speaking, you like zoom out because you think you know what they're saying?
Yes.
I always think about it. It's like the teacher on Peanuts cartoon, right? Wah, 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 wah. So the minute they open their mouth, you're like, oh, here we go again. It's not being like that. It's being present in that moment always, and see where you maybe aren't that way because of whatever the judgment you have is. So so great examples of this. These are all really simple, yet they're not. And so, and they do layer on each other. So just stay in the inquiry with this and see what it does for you. So I love that, Lynn Marie. Anything else?
Can I throw in one other thing, just off topic, but relevant to people in here? So if you guys remember from 2 bowls ago, we had Coach Mitch out here, and he has started a book club, and he says we can invite anybody that we want. I don't know. I think it looks like it's backwards on the screen, but
no, it comes through for us. Atomic Habits. Yeah, we see it correctly. You see it backwards.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's great. Okay, so Atomic Habits is the book. We're meeting on July 23rd at 5 p.m. our time, because it's 3 p.m. his time in Vegas. But if anybody else wants to get in on this, if we have until July 23rd, we're reading chapters 1 through 3. And if you have any questions, just let me know and I can get you the Zoom link for it. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I know everybody here is all about becoming better humans and things like that. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And Mitchell does an awesome job with this. It's a great book too, by the way. So yeah, so thanks for mentioning that. Any other thoughts, questions, announcements? All right, guys, thanks so much. You have a great day. Stay with this one. Do you need me to put it back up on the screen, or did you have a chance to write it down? I do not understand anything I see. And then you just finish the rest of it. I do not understand anything I see. I do not understand anything I see. So we'll see what happens for you. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thanks for being with us today. Have an awesome day.